Hello, and welcome back to the Kingdom of Snacks. It's me, the Lumber King. That's right, King Snack. Lumber Snack himself. And at the date of recording, this is 2/28, February 28th of 2026. In Israel and the United States of America, who I have declared my independence from, has just declared not declared, they just fired missiles and bombs sporadically at very targeted individual locations. Most notably, a young women's school that took about 50 innocent girls' lives. And I want every single person who voted for Donald Trump to know that your hands have blood on them. Flat out. Your weird fear has truly destroyed the world. But ultimately, in the destruction of the world by the hands of the wicked, you will have initiated hell and returned the king of hell back to his rightful power. Now, what we have to understand about this Israeli and Iranian war is that this is an Israeli and Iranian war. The American people and the American politicians who are for this are Israeli nationalists. They are BS Zionists, and they are at war with the Kingdom of Snacks. Now, personally, I do not care what happens to me. Those who know the truth of life and know the truth of the light know that the physical form dies, but that which is greater can never die. And that's the point in each and every single one of us that we need to recognize, merge together in consciousness, and fight against those who are missing their eye. These freaking fascist losers. Now, there's a big reason why Donald Trump, the orange testicle with legs, has joined this war. A big reason. And it's because of the Epstein files, because Israel has been operating, whether you want to call it Israel or, the people whose power was separated for right reasons, because clearly when they get together like this, bad things happen. But it's important because I've actually heard actual Jewish people talk about Judaism. And it's one of the reasons why I am very sympathetic towards the actual Jewish religion and to the Jewish people, and why I am so against the Zionists and their Nazi way of life. Because in case you didn't know, the whole European race is Ashkenazi. So let's split it right there. Let's separate the Ash Nazis. Yeah, let's just separate them. I'm so sick and tired of them. It's bad. It's bad. And it's not all Ashkenazis. It's just like these specific groups. There are plenty of culturally raised Jewish people who are proud of their heritage, just like someone who was culturally raised Mormon or culturally raised anything. We got to split up the Ashes and the Nazis. Because pretty soon, what the Nazis are hoping is that the Ashes automatically get associated as Nazis, because they don't care about their own. They only care about their materialistic self-interest. But the important thing why America joined this Israel-Iranian war and helped spearhead this illegal attack is because of Donald Trump's involvement in the Epstein files. But less about Epstein's files and more about the fact that this dude has actually been running an entire sex trafficking operation independently of Jeffrey Epstein. Independently of Diddy, and that's why they were connected, and that's why, it's a shame what happened to P. Diddy, and Donald Trump's going to look to exonerate him, because your own will protect your own, is the thing. I hate these people. I hate them so freaking much. So we're going to read through some of this wicked villainy that Donald Trump has been accused of that has spurred this egregious attack on Iran. Now, the first one is it's less about any sort of anything and more a direct quote from Donald Trump himself. This is according to the New York Times, October 7th, 2016. Donald Trump brags in vulgar terms about groping women in a 2005 recording, saying, "When you're a star, they let you do it." Now, this is actually one of those things where when you have money, you can do whatever you want because you can just buy off the right parties. That's why they've been in power for so long, and that's why they're allowed their disgusting empire that needs to crush, crumble, and fall. Donald J. Trump was caught on tape bragging in vulgar terms about making sexual advances towards a married woman and aggressively kissing and groping other women. The remarkable recording unearthed by the Washington Post on Friday was made in 2005 on the set of a soap opera where Mr. Trump was making a cameo appearance. Mr. Trump was captured on an open microphone that he apparently did not know was recording his conversation with Billy Bush, and the host of Access Hollywood, with whom he was sitting on a bus. Now, flat out, he's already bragging about being able to grab women. You know, this comes from the same dude who, at child beauty pageants, would just randomly walk into the girls' dressing room and tell them, 14-year-old girls, 13-year-old girls, and tell them, "Don't worry, it's nothing I haven't seen before." What a psycho. Listen, and a lot of my things that I'm making, like the videos, especially this, is mostly for the father snack. My dad, who I love, who voted for this monstrosity, who, anytime this stuff gets brought up, genuinely tries to duck out of the issue, doesn't want to hear it, and I'm sorry, blind ignorance is not okay, even from the father snack. And I have deep respect for my father, and I just want him to be able to open his eyes and recognize why he didn't vote for this monster the first time. I truly believe everyone's worth saving, or actually, no, not everyone. Some people are absolutely not worth saving. So, for the rest of this video, I will be reading some of the more heinous things that dear leader, that the MAGA conservatives lube up and bend over for while they gargle his ball sack and get a little tickle from his pubescent hairs. Because that's all they want. Just don't bite. Just don't bite. That's why they take the teeth out of children and starve them and flay their mother's freaking voice so that they start sucking harder and they get, more hungry. This is going to be a very vulgar, disturbing video that you've just stumbled on, because this is a very vulgar, disturbing world that's only going to be solved by end times resolutions, which is what I'm here for. Girls aged 8 and 11 pepper sprayed during Donald Trump rally. Chaos as opponents and supporters clash. The woman alleges she was subject to extreme sexual and physical abuse from the age of 13. On the first occasion, the alleged victim said she was forced to manually stimulate Donald Trump with the use of her hand until he reached sexual orgasm. She then goes on the second occasion, the documents state, she was forced to orally copulate defendant Trump by placing her mouth upon defendant Trump's erect penis until he reached sexual orgasm. In response to the allegations, Trump told Radar Online, the allegations are not only categorically false, but disgusting at the highest level and clearly framed to solicit media attention, or perhaps are simply politically motivated. Now, I know a lot of this stuff is hearsay, you can say whatever, but that dude's been ducking the questions for too long, and he is clearly trying to cover something up. And that's where the true wickedness begins. And personally, I don't know exactly everything that he's done, but I have a weird theory that the whole psychotic, disgusting baby eating ritual that these Epstein pedophiles are taking, part in is purely so that they can lie more proficiently. Because as soon as you have sacrificed your soul, given up your humanity to that level of degree, you owe the truth to nobody. Not even God, which is when God sends someone to collect. There's absolutely no merit to these allegations, period. Epstein is yet to comment on the allegations. The woman claims she was threatened with her life if she ever spoke of the abuse she alleges she suffered. In closing her statement, she added, the alleged victim was fully warned on more than one occasion by both defendants, Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein, that were she ever to reveal any of the details of the sexual and physical abuse that she had suffered as a sex slave for the defendant Trump and defendant Epstein, that plaintiff Johnson and her family would be in mortal danger. The plaintiff was warned that this could mean certain death for herself, and the plaintiff firmly, unless she remains silent forever on the exact details of the depraved and perverted sexual and physical abuse she had been forced to endure from the defendants. According to the documents, the woman is representing herself in the case. The allegations emerged less than 24 hours after Trump attracted criticism after proudly boasting while on the campaign trail in Indianapolis that he had been endorsed by Mike Tyson. The state is where the former world heavyweight champion was convicted of raping beauty pageant contestant Desiree Washington in 1992. So already he's favored by rapists, because rapists would want a rapist president that would allow for their, rape to continue. This psychotic orange taint who's cheated on pretty much every single wife, if not every single wife he's had. This bastardized reprobation of God. He needs gone. He was jailed for 3 years for the attack. Mike Tyson endorsed me, Trump told the crowd. I love it, he sent out a tweet. Mike. Iron Mike. The tough guys endorsed me. I like that, okay? Also the rapist. But Mike said, I love Trump, I endorse Trump, and that's the end. I'm sure he doesn't know about your economic situation in Indiana, but when I get endorsed by the tough ones, I like it, because you know what? We need toughness now. We need toughness. We, the American people, need toughness at the hands of this aggression that has been put forth on the American conscience, on the human conscience across the entire planet. Absolutely nobody is safe while Israel and the United States government are allowed to operate in the way that they've been operating. Absolutely nobody is safe. Amal Clooney slams Donald Trump without even saying his name. Trump was a supporter of Tyson after the conviction, saying that to a large extent he was railroaded. Trump had a financial interest in the case because Tyson's fights made money for his hotels. The businessman was previously accused of sexual assault by his ex-wife Ivana Zaynikova during the divorce in 1991. The Czech-American socialite accused him of raping her 3 years previously, but later clarified her comments, saying it was not in a literal or criminal sense. I don't know how you can rape somebody and not have it in a literal or criminal sense, personally. Trump has always denied her allegations. The allegation had appeared in a sworn deposition made by Ivana Trump, reported in 1993 book Lost Tycoon, The Many Lives of Donald J. Trump by Harry Hurt III. According to the author, she accused him of rape after he allegedly attacked her in a violent assault. In the book, it is alleged he ripped off her clothes to have sex with her. The book claims she told her friends, he raped me. A spokesman for Trump wrongly claimed you cannot rape your spouse. However, 50 states throughout the U.S. say it is illegal. Before Lost Tycoon was printed, Trump and his lawyers provided a statement from Ivana, published beneath the allegation of rape. Next one. That's pretty cool that that's the person we've decided to put into office who just launched missiles at a nation that's never declared war on us, who honestly has probably been far greater of a friend to us than any other country, quite frankly. Honestly, I have nothing but good things to say about Islam. Anyone who says anything bad against Islam is an enemy of God. Flat out. Because Islam just means submission. James 4 literally spoke of submission to God being the only way before it went on to chastise the extraordinarily wealthy and materialistic. Okay. You Christian nationalists need to read your Bible, shut the hell up, and get, ousted from your positions and from your religion. It's a defunct religion at this point, meant to, prevent accountability by its people. Flat out. A woman has claimed she was raped by Donald Trump as a teenager after being lured to sex parties. She accused the 69-year-old U.S. Republican presidential hopeful and Prince Andrew's pedophile pal Jeffrey Epstein of assaulting her and using her as a sex slave. Katie Johnson, who has waived her right to anonymity as an alleged victim, lodged her claim in the Central District Court of California on Tuesday. Billionaire businessman Trump vehemently denies the allegations. Johnson also alleged she was threatened with her life if she ever spoke of the abuse claims. She said in the legal papers, Katie Johnson was warned on more than one occasion by both defendants. Donald J. Trump, Jeffrey E. Epstein, that where she ever to reveal any of the details of the sexual and physical abuse she had suffered as a sex slave for defendant Trump and defendant Epstein, that plaintiff Johnson and her family would be in mortal danger. Plaintiff Johnson was warned that this would mean certain death for herself and plaintiff Johnson's family unless she remained silent forever on the details of the depraved and perverted sexual and physical abuse she had been forced to endure from the defendants. Johnson, who is seeking $68.5 million in damages, accuses the pair of sexual abuse under threat of harm. She also alleges she was enticed by promises of money and a modeling career to attend a series of underage sex parties held at the New York City residence of defendant Jeffrey E. Epstein and attended by Donald J. Trump. Johnson claims she was forced to perform sex acts on Trump and engage in an unnatural lesbian sex act with her fellow minor and sex slave. The court papers add that on the fourth and final sexual encounter, Trump proceeded to forcibly rape the plaintiff. She claims the act took place from June to September 1994, and she was subject to extreme sexual and physical abuse from the age of 13. The allegations could derail Trump's bid to be president, but in response he told Radar Online, the allegations are not only categorically false, but disgusting at the highest level and clearly framed to solicit media attention or perhaps any are simply politically motivated. There's absolutely no merit to these allegations, period. According to the documents, Johnson is representing herself in the case. Trump has previously been accused of sexual assault by his ex-wife Ivana during the divorce battle. In 1991, the Czech-American socialite claimed to be raped her 3 years previously, but she later clarified her comment. We already read that. In February, as Trump's presidential run got underway, allegations resurfaced that he sexually assaulted and tried to rape a woman in the early 90s. She claimed in a federal lawsuit that he violated her physical and mental integrity when he touched her intimately without consent after her boyfriend went into business with him. She said it left her emotionally devastated and distraught. The woman dropped the $90 million lawsuit in Manhattan last month. Epstein, who was once a close friend of Prince Andrew, pleaded guilty to 2 states' charges of soliciting a minor for soliciting prostitution. He served 13 months after being sentenced in 2008. Investigators suspected the former New York financier of abusing 34 underage girls, but lawyers failed to charge him with any of his co-conspirators, and instead offered him a secret plea bargain. They are false. There's absolutely no merit in these allegations. Period. Donald Trump. Personally, I just think Donald Trump is better at lying than Jeffrey Epstein was. I think Jeffrey Epstein used the Fifth Amendment plea deal because deep down, I don't think he's that good at lying. He's also not that good with pain, and I'm 95% positive that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive, and I'm 95% positive that Ghislaine Maxwell has never gone to prison. If you happen to see any of these people walking around, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell specifically, out of prison, slay them immediately. As soon as possible. Don't give them the chance to clear their name or give up any state's witnesses or anyone. Execute them on sight. They need to go. They need to be dead. And they need to not be harming any children anymore. Anybody who is against this is pro harming children and should be exiled to somewhere where they like executing children, like Israel. Anyway, the Kingdom of Snacks is at war with Donald Trump. Flat out. It's a sad and scary world we're living in. But one astrological place that they really messed up is targeting Iran, a nation who's on a lunar calendar who has specific reverence towards the moon, they literally struck first before a total major blood moon lunar eclipse, following an extraordinary planetary parade right at the start of a Mercury retrograde, all while being charged with the heightened rage, anger, and bloodthirstiness that is the sign of Aries. Now, the biggest thing I wish is for the Americans to wake up, to actually recognize who are the enemies of Christ and who are the ones actively supporting his cause. I leave this with you in the name of the one Allah, that we may all win, all righteous people. Thank you for watching.